Hi friends, welcome to ISN College Connect YouTube channel. In this videos, we are going to discuss about HashMap. In previous videos, we discussed about array list and array list CRUD operations and comparable comparator. So, in this videos, we are going to discuss about HashMap. Let's see what is a HashMap. The HashMap, which is going to be hold the data in key and value pair. Here, it's going to store the data and key and value pair. Okay, so here you're going to store the informations on this key. This key is going to be associated with this particular value. So here you can have any number of keys, but only thing is, so it doesn't hold the duplicate keys. Okay, only it is going to hold the unique key values. Okay, so it doesn't hold the duplicate keys. So here, and one more thing, so this key will contains one null key. Okay, so without any identifications, you can able to store one key, that is null values. Along with this, you can store the values for that particular key, and it is not synchronized, and it maintains no order. That is, the order is not going to be get maintained. So same as in the hash map, so it is having the initial of 16 capacities, and it is load factor is what, 0.65. Okay, so here we are going to see the implementations of the hash map concepts. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a new packages. Package name which I'm going to use is HashMap PG. Okay, so under this, I'm going to create one class. The class is all about basics HashMap concepts. Okay, so now you see we are going to create an HashMap. So what's the syntax for creating HashMap? The syntax for the HashMap is, first it is going to be HashMap, and then that should be followed by key data type and value data type we are going to be mentioned. Here the key values we are going to give the integer means, okay, so value type is going to be give string means is going to be store only the integers values in the key locations, and it is going to be store only the string values in the values location, and then that should be followed by hashmap object hm equal to new hashmap. Here I'm going to be mention the type of both the key as well as the values, right? So now you see we created the hash map. Okay, so and then uh, I'm just going to perform some operations. Initially, for performing the adding operations on the list interface, we are going to use the add method. But for the hash map, we are having the special method which is called as a put method. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add the method. I'm just going to use the add the data, so that I'm going to use the method name called add data. So inside this add data, I'm just going to use a hashmap object hashmap dot put hashmap dot put. Inside this, I'm just going to be pass the key and value pair 101, and then data is what, Vinod Kumar Silverson. Vinod Kumar Silverson. Right. Okay. So and I all and I'm going to add the remaining set of data. Okay, so 102, and then 103, and then 104. Here, same, I'm just going to add Ashok Kumar, Roshan, and then Niranjan. So now you see we added the data into the hash map. Okay, so now you want to print the informations, or else you want to get the values which is present on the particular key location, means you can use this get method. Okay, so get data. Inside this, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this system.out.println. Inside this, I'm just going to mention the key values. Okay, so here I'm just going to mention system.out.println. Inside this hm.get, inside this I'm just going to be pass the key. Okay, so that is key 101. So it's going to be print the values which is present on the 101. Okay, so now I'm just going to perform the other operation. I'm going to remove the data. Okay, so void remove data. Inside this, so I'm just going to be pass the hm object, hm dot, so hm dot remove. Okay, so sorry, hm dot remove. No, it's not giving. Oh, sorry. So actually, I need to create inside this particular method. Okay, so inside the system.out.println, I'm just going to use the method hm.remove. Inside this, I'm just going to pass the values, which is going to be 10. Okay, so now I want to know the size of the particular hash map. Okay, so totally how many size it's having. Okay, get size method. I'm just going to use the method get size of hash map. Okay, so you can give any name. Okay, so it is not mandatory that we need to use the same method name. Okay, so here I'm just going to be use this out. Okay, so inside this I'm just going to use the hash map object hashmap dot. Okay, so we are going to get the size. For that we are going to use the method called size. So in front of this each of the system.out.println, I'm just going to print some problems to something on the double quotes. Okay, so get the value on the key location 101. Here I'm just going to be print get the sorry remove the data on the key location 102. Okay, so to get the size of the hash map, so we are going to use to get the size of the hash map. So that's it. So then we are going to check whether this hash map is empty or not. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use get is empty method. Is hash map empty? Inside this, I'm just going to be print sys out hashmap dot is empty. Okay, so it's going to be returned the values. If it is empty, then it is going to be returned true. Okay, so now we are going to run this program. For that, I'm just going to create a main method. Under this main method, I'm going to create an object of this particular class, which is called as a basic hash. bh equal to new basic hash bh dot add data bh dot get data. Okay, so bh dot remove data, then bh dot get size of the hash map, and then bh dot is hash map empty. Now this add data is used for adding the data into the hash map. For that we are going to use the put. Inside this put we are having this two parameters we are passing. One is key, another one is values. As I already told that it is going to accept null values too. Okay, so hashtag dot put. Okay, so here I'm just going to be pass on null values, and then inside this I'm just going to be pass some information. Okay, so in case if I'm going to add one more null. Okay, so and it accept any number of null, null values but not null keys. Okay, so it accept only one null keys. Okay, so now I'm just going to execute this program. Okay, so get the values of the key location 101 is Vinod Kumar Silverson, yes. So remove the data of the key locations 102 is what? Ashok Kumar Silverson, and get the size of the hash map. After removing hash Ashok Kumar Silverson, we have in totally of three values, and then is the data is empty means no, so it is data is having, so that it is going to be written false because data is there. Now you see we want to use the iteration method for printing the values which is present on this particular hash map. Okay, so for that what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use void print info. Inside this I'm just going to use the method. Okay, so here I'm just going to use for inside this map dot entry. Okay, so map dot entry here I'm just going to be mention the key. What is the key type is going to be? Okay, so what is the key type is going to be? It is integer, right? Okay, so key is what? Integer, and then value is what? String. Okay, so here I'm going to create a type of this hash map, so that me, and then inside this I'm going to get the complete values. What are the values which the hash map is having? Okay, so HM object which is the hash map is having. So I'm just going to use HM dot entry set. Okay, so here what are the values which the HM is a hash map object, right? It's having, it's going to be transfer all the information to the ME object. Now I'm just going to be check. Okay, so if the values is present or not. Okay, so if the values is present, I'm just going to print the values. Okay, so I'm just going to just now I'm going to print simply the values of it. Get key, sorry, me dot get key. Okay, so which is plus double equal to comma plus me dot get values. Right, it's going to be print the key along with the values which is stored on that particular key location. Okay, so now I'm just going to run this program. Okay, so we need to call this particular method, right? Then only we are going to get the output. So for that, I'm just going to create hmbh dot the method name print info semicolon. Okay, so now you see it's going to be print the keys along with the values associated with this. So this is a way, what are the, these are the different methods which is present on the hash map. Okay, so here also you can use the contain key. Okay, so it's going to check the map contain the specific key or not. Okay, so that is another method we are having it. Okay, so actually I forgot to include this contain keys and contain values. Okay, so in this is out, I'm just calling hm dot contain keys. Okay, so it's going to check whether this key is having or not. Okay, so here I'm just going to be pass 101. Okay, contain key is going to be return the values. Okay, so here you see the contain key. Oh, we need to call this particular method, right? Okay, so here bh dot contain key methods. I'm just running this code. Okay, so here you see it's telling that yes, this particular key is present. In case if you want to check this particular values is present, you can use hm dot contain values. So inside this, you can pass the values of any one particular person. Okay, so here you can pass the values of Roshan Niranjan Vinod Kumar. Okay, so you can just pass the values. If the values is present, it's going to be written. Sorry, this particular contain values. HM dot. Okay, actually we are having some space, right? Okay, so here you see we are getting that true. Why? Because previously we leave some space. So here, these are the different methods we are having on the hash map. Okay, now what we are going to do, so we are going to create one Pojo classes, and then we are going to use the instead of key type is going to be what integer, and then value type I'm going to use one Pojo classes. Okay, let's see how to create that type of coding. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use HashMap with Pojo. Okay, so you know about the Pojo classes, right? It is nothing but it is entity classes which hold the complete information about one particular students or particular things. Okay, so we are going to use this Pojo class as a values. Okay, so for this one particular hash map. Okay, so for that, first I'm going to create one Pojo classes. So Pojo classes name what? Registration. Okay, so inside this Pojo classes, I'm just going to create uh, some variables, private, int, register number, private, string, name, and then private, mm, name, string department. Okay, that's it. I'm just going to create a constructor, empty constructor, and constructor with arguments and source and getter setter. Empty constructor and source constructor with arguments and getter and setter. Okay, then toString. Okay, so that's it. We created the Pojo classes. Now what we are going to do? So we are going to create one Pojo classes, and we are going to use this Pojo class as a values for this particular hash map. Okay, so now I'm just going to create a hash map. So which is going to hold the key is what? The string or int. Okay, so here I'm going to use the integer. Okay, so then values is what? Pojo class. The Pojo class here we are having is registration. This is the Pojo class, right? Okay, so I'm just going to put values as a hash and then hm equal to new hash map. Okay, sorry, hash map and then integer comma registration, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do, so here I'm going to create one particular method which is going to receive the hash map uh, object or Pojo classes values, and I'm going to add the values into the hash map. Okay, add data. Okay, so here I'm going to pass the values registration. So inside this, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to registration or regi. Okay, so here I'm going to add this registration to the hash map. Let's see how to add it. So we are going to use hash hm dot put method. Inside this put method, so we are going to get the registrations. Okay, regi dot get register number as a key, and then values which I'm going to put it as the regi itself. Okay, so then I'm just going to check if the values is present in the hash map or not, or else I'm just going to pass the key and I'm going to check whether this particular key is present or not. So for that, I'm just going to use so void get data based on key. Okay, so here I'm just going to pass the key as an argument and I'm going to check whether this particular key is present or not. Okay, so for that I'm going to create get int key id data. Okay, so here inside this, so I'm just going to check whether this data is present or not. Okay, so sysout, sysout, I'm going to check hm dot get. Okay, so here I'm just going to pass the key. If the key is present, what it is going to do, it is going to be written the values associated with that particular key. hm dot get. Inside this, I'm going to be pass the argument which I'm going to receive, key ID data. Now we are going to perform the update operations. Okay, so update operation is what? The same as the put operations. Okay, so here if you are going to use the key, duplicate means the first one is going to be override by the second one. So it is not mandatory to give this uh, update operations over here. Okay, so then delete operation. Okay, remove data. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass one ID. So that is key ID data. Okay, so inside this, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove the data. Okay, so remove the record, remove the record. Okay, so here I'm going to use hm dot remove. Okay, so inside this, I'm going to be pass the key ID data. Okay, so here you see this method is used to add the data. So key is going to be held by this Pojo class itself. Okay, I'm just going to read the get registration number to get the particular user register number as a key, and then the data is going to be what? The regi. Okay, so now the next one we are going to see is we are going to check whether the sizes exist or not. Okay, so void. Okay, so sysout. Oh, sorry. Uh, get size method. Okay, get size or get size of HashMap. Okay, so here in this HashMap, it's going to be written the size. Okay, so that is hm dot size method. Okay, so it's going to be written the size of the HashMap. Done. So now we are going to check whether the HashMap is data is there or not. Okay, so is empty date is empty is data exit is data, the method name is data exist. If the data is exist, I'm just going to be print the information. Here I'm going to be print sysout is empty, and I'm going to call the method hm dot is empty. Okay, so now we are going to, why it is throwing error, get digital registration. Okay, okay, that it's gone. Okay, so now we are going to get the key and values. Okay, so get contains method. Okay, so there is a two types of contains method. One is contains key, another one is what? Contain values. Okay, so here I'm just going to be pass the key and value as an argument. Okay, so key is what? Uh, sorry, I'm just going to be check the key. Okay, so int key ID data, key data. Okay, so here I'm going to be print if the key is present or not. So okay, so this contains key. Okay, so then plus, okay, so I'm going to check hm dot contain key. Inside this, I'm just going to use the key data. Okay, so now I'm just going to use the main method, and I'm going to call all this one by one. So before I'm going to create an after I'm creating this object for this particular class, so the class name is hash map with Pojo. Okay, so HMP equal to new hash map with Pojo, then HMP dot. So before we are going to perform this adding operation, we need to have some set of data, right? Okay, so here you see Pojo class is what? Registration. Okay, so here I'm going to create a registration R1 equal to new registration. Here inside this, we are going to be pass all the argument. Okay, so what are the arguments we are having? Okay, so here the registrations will contains um, three arguments: registration number, name, and department. Okay, so registration number, that is 101. So I'm just going to use the same previously I used, right? 101, Kumar Silverson. And then the next one, which I'm going to be pass is department. Okay, so here I'm going to be pass a mechanical CSE. Okay, likewise, I'm going to create four object, R2, and then R3 and R4. 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so here I'm just going to be change the name. It's going to be Ashok Kumar Silverasan. The department is what? Mechanical, and then Ocean, Vinod Kumar, and then Niranjan, Vinod Kumar. Okay, so AML, AIDS. Okay, that's it. Okay, so what we are going to do? So we are going to create an object. Now we are going to pass all the object to the hash map. Okay, so here you see which method is used to perform the adding operations. So the adding operation is going to be performed by add data. So we are going to call the add data method now for adding all this information. So this add data method is present inside the hash map with Pojo classes. So I'm going to use hmp dot add data. Inside this, I'm just going to be pass all the data one by one, all the object one by one. Because what the add data is going to be received, the add data is going to be received this registration class. Okay. So now I'm just going to create an hmp dot add data. Okay. So then 2, then 3, then 4. Now you see the entire data is now added into the hash map. What's the next operations we are going to do? So we are going to check, well, we are going to pass one particular key and we are going to uh, get that value for E. So plus HM. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to call this particular method hmp dot. Okay, so here I'm going to be pass some values. Okay, 101. Okay. So now after that, it is going to be print the values which is present on this particular key locations. Okay, so that is we are going to be printed on here. We are going to use a remove method and then we are going to remove one particular data. HMP dot remove and then we are going to be pass one particular data. Okay, so that is key values. Okay, 102. Okay, then remove is done. Okay, so get the size of the hash map. So it's going to be print the size of the hash map. HMP dot get size of the hash map. Okay, so then we are going to check is data exist. HMP dot is data exist. Okay, so it's going to be written true if it is empty or else it is going to be written false. So here we are going to print the value. HMP dot get contains method inside this, we are going to be pass the key that is going to be checked with the contains key. It's going to be checked if the values is present, if the key is present or not. Okay, so the values I'm going to pass is 101. Now we are going to run this program. Okay, so here you see is contains key is true. Yes, 101 is present. Is data is exists is going to be returned false because data is there. The size of the total data we are having is 3. Why? Because we removed this one record. Okay, so that we are going to get the 3. Okay, so then we are going to print the removed record, right? Okay, so here you see this removed record is going to be return the values. Okay, so remove data is written. Once you are going to call this remove method and you are going to be pass the key, is going to be written the values which is associated with this particular key, and then it is going to be get removed, or else it is going to be written null or -1. Okay. Now hope you understand this complete hash map operations. If you like these videos, please share this video with your friends and please don't forget to click the subscribe and bell button. Thank you.